bunch of years under their belt. Part of the reason, okay, we're going to have it engaged here. Vayne just tumbles away from the Q, and now Ignite is down. And guess what? That 30 extra movement speed. Kyle is not going to get away from this. Deft could flash in. He is going to go for the tumble, and one more auto will do it. Deft on Vayne picks up first blood.
This is an extremely high volatility lane because of Vayne's kit, her ability to chase, and her damage output just from her auto.
No, this is our Dragon. Let's see how DRX do respond, as it is going to be a 4-on-4. No teleports available. Beryl looking for the Hex Flash over the wall. They will engage this one straight onto the Eclipse Leona, as she does go down. And in fact, Zeka is going to be taken out next. Kozer gets so much value out of these follow-up Spirit Rushes, as Deft is trying to kite it out against 3.
Because of how deep Liv Sandbox had to go into that fight.
So we're fighting again, as Pyosik is going to try to flash away from this one. The Subjugate is finally used. He's a really tanky Trundle, as now the front line is there, but the Cyclone is onto Deft, who does not have level 6 himself. King gets a big gnar in this back line, as Zeka looks pretty dead, but Kingan's kind of going 1v4 now. Zeka's able to stopwatch and buy so much time, and now a front line once again created here for the Vayne. Krako gonna have to go into that clone, and finally Zeka did go down, so DRX looking to disengage here. As the whip comes out, the flail trying to do that damage. Krako going to get a Triumph proc, but Deft now hit level 6. He procs that ultimate, looking for a bit more. Even trying to frontline himself, as these fights are really close.
I mean, they're really close.
He's
but
alone. He looks very dead.
He has an R-bar and flash. The Sandra's coming up.
The Gnar is only going to hit Kyle, who takes turret aggro as well. He is going to go down, but Kingan also looking to burn, will be taken down by the Sivir Q, as Zeka tries to come in and help out his teammate, but he's just feeding the enemy AD carry, as well as now you've got a 5-kill Sivir and a 4-kill Vayne in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you had bought enough time as Kingan, or if Zeka had come up a little bit faster, or if Zeka had teleport, which is just coming up now, you'd feel good about this. Oh, Beryl also going to go down here. Prince will not be under turret aggro for this one. Down in the Gnar bar. So it was really well timed from Dove there to look for the all-in after the Gnar bar is expired. As Beryl is trying to maybe bait something here, as Deft is coming down. It's a 1v4 basically for Deft, though. I don't know about this.
Yeah, I mean, you're down a level. You could try to force, but everybody's there for Liv Sandbox. So even though we have had 16 kills in 14 minutes, and our teams here are definitely not used to this, as we keep zooming in on this, I'm not sure exactly why.
It feels like if we made League of Legends a 1v1 game, you know, and it's Deft versus Prince, the other 4 champions on both sides are just kind of like, you know, NPCs. Kind of what it feels like in this game. This is not an NPC moment here from Dove, because he identifies, okay, Narbar is used to clear that wave. You're dead. I'm going to come for you. Waits till the last possible second to ult, after proccing, of course, the stun. And also no teleport. He has teleport now.
Good information, and Dove, he's looking to make a even bigger impact as he lands that onto Beryl. A bit late, though. Would have liked to see that layered right on top. They do get the cleanse out of Deft, importantly, though. So a lot like the Kog'Maw was kind of in a rough spot without the cleanse. We're going to have it engaged, though. In they go on Pyosik, who's trying to frontline, but immediately gets shredded by Prince, who is just so fed in this game. And Beryl tries to re-engage. Not sure about that. He's got Kingan coming in behind. As, yeah, that kind of tells the story. But Deft is trying to frontline now. Doesn't have much, doesn't have flash, and Krako just assassinates him. And the damage is coming out now from the legendary Sivir, as Prince hits 8 kills at 6. Deft here kind of alone. He's got some support, but take a look at this. Prince hit 1 auto onto him. The other was a bounce, as now the front line comes in. The charm onto the Zeka here, as Krako is able to set this one up for his team on the follow-up. There is the second Cyclone. Kingan gonna get caught by that pillar, and not really much that the side of DRX could do.
Yeah, Deft needs everybody to be there for him. They have IE, they have a massive, they have a massive lead. The only way they lose this game is just by taking a poor fight where they're down on members, or they're, you know, obviously as Baron aggro. As Deft is chunked down to 1/4 health before this fight really takes off. Yeah. He has to cleanse.
It's like 1 auto and a bounce.
Yeah, he has no flash. So there's just no way for him to try to come in here and kite and pop off. Like, he has no agency. He can't be the greatest Vayne player in the world.
This is not a 5v5. This doesn't even look as good as the last fight, as they're going to pick up Pyoshi for free. Deft decides, okay, well, let's just have a little bit of fun with this one. Is going to go forward here onto Closer. Gets slowed up there by the Glacial Prison, and eventually he will be taken out. Unfortunately, Vayne not really a 1v9 champ at this point.
I wonder where Deft is. He's probably down here. Rift Herald is walking already, by the way. So I think this is kind of almost coincidental as well that Liv Sandbox want to set for a dive onto anybody who's down here, and it happens to be Deft, of course, who's also here. They didn't have full vision on him. But yeah, I mean, he ults to buy time so that Kingen can get the bounty that's on the outer turret. But that's it. I mean, this is a full health Rift Herald. Inner is gone. Inhibitor turret's gone. Inhibitor is gone. And now there's, you know, super minions on the opposite side of Baron.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue. This Mountain Soul is about to come up. A little bit of a note on the Mountain Soul. The Vayne not going to care too much about that, obviously, but Zeka's damage is going to be impeded heavily, especially because he basically has no penetration in this build. And he's mostly just in, you know, he enables Deft, right? The Trundle will be a little bit happy, but at the end of the day, the Mountain Soul, not the biggest value, but still, the box will take it.
That's a really good point, actually. It's going to be good, but it's not going to be as amazing as it normally is. Still, it also functions as an Elder Drake. And Liv Sandbox have full control over this game. They have an inhibitor down so early. Should be guaranteed Baron, which will then, of course, give them probably a little bit more control over the other two inhibitors. And now that this Elder timer has hit, the time it's going to take Deft to become able to compete with Sivir, because he's almost 3 items himself, but to be able to compete with the Sivir and the acceleration the Sejuani faces, or they face from the Sejuani, I just don't think the timing lines up here very well for DRX. They need a miracle fight, somehow 5v5. Deft and Kingen are not here. Teleport's up for Kingen, but he has no Narbar.
And it looks like they want to go for a turn here. Lots of members in this brush. Looks like DRX not 100% sure about that, but that's just dead. Pyoshi gets charmed and 100 to 0. Zeka is a frontline, and yeah, I mean, this is just the state of the game. Zeka is going to go down, and Deft and Kingen do not get to play the game. As, yep, that's going to be Baron now for Liv Sandbox.
This game is so sad, I think, in a lot of ways, for what it could have been, because it didn't have to be Sivir and Vayne having 7 kills at 10 minutes, you know, basically. And then all of the feeding that we saw, I mean, frankly, like, the kills were fed over to Prince on the top side shenanigans, where we saw that weird late claw from Zeka, the barrel dying, and then the mid game, or the mid push, where he was also donated kills. Speaking of donated kills.
Leashed onto there by the tether, and that is going to be Prince. By the way, 12 kills. I suppose for him, he's probably just a little bit sad that he died the one time, because if he didn't, he'd be 12-0 and 8. It is still an incredibly impressive scoreline, and might not have too much more time to boost it, because I think this game might just end. The Baron buff is coming in. Liv Sandbox will collect their 3rd inhibitor eventually.
There were so many complexities about these 2 drafts that I was so excited to discuss, Valdez. You know, I really wanted to talk about how the late game team fighting was going to go on an even footing. Even mid-game team fighting on even footing, we just did not get to see.
Yeah. Deft is, you know, he's trying. He's going to cleanse here. And then he's just going to get followed up on with the insane amount of engage that they have. And Sivir is just ripping through the entirety of this composition. Everybody on low health now. Take a look at that damage. Just insane stuff. As Prince nearly dies, he's going to have to go into his stopwatch. But that's just because they're having a little bit of fun, trying to boost their numbers here. This Nexus will go down, and Liv Sandbox is going to get one step closer to that 3rd place spot. They will try to challenge Dalmonkia as they move up.
맞지마 너 맞지마 필요 없어.
괜찮아.
Listen in.
여기 섰다.
I think they're saying like someone was like, please, you know, start the fight. Someone hit, you know, a skill shot, but someone else was like, we don't need to do that. I think you just end the game.
뺄게.
빼봐.
Back out, we're backing out.
트런들.
야, 나는
see Prince.
노플이야, 노플.
야야야야 죽을 뻔.
Whoa.
side. 튕기는 부메랑.
아, 나이스. 잘했다.
야,
King has no boomerang, I think is what he's saying, but he of course means they